It's the possibility of having a dream come true that makes life interesting. Namaskar, welcome to PT Pointers, and in this video, we will cover major headlines of the Hindu, Indian Express, and Press Information Bureau. So, without wasting any time, let's start today's discussion. And our first headline is related to minimum support price, which is the price at which government offers to procure farmers' produce during the season. It was first introduced in 1965-66 season for wheat. Later, the coverage was expanded to coarse cereals. It aims to provide a fair return to farmers and to protect the interest of consumers. The Cabinet Committee of Economic Affairs announces the MSP at the start of each sowing season, taking into account the recommendations of the Commission for Agricultural Cost and Prices. And the key considerations while recommending the MSP for crops are demand and supply, production cost, price trends in the domestic and international market, and likely implications of the price on consumers. And now it is in the news because recently government made it clear that announcing a guaranteed minimum support price, which is the key demand of the farmers, will not be possible. However, government offered a third round of talks with the leaders of the group. Our next headline is related to European Free Trade Association, which is the intergovernmental organization of Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway, and Switzerland. It was set up in 1960 for the promotion of free trade and economic integration between its members, and India and EFTA text is a broad-ranging agreement that is being negotiated between India and four countries since 2008 to increase investment by these countries in India and reduce tariffs on a range of exports from these countries. And according to recent report, a clause in draft India EFTA Pact could delay access to affordable and generic versions of patented drugs in India by a minimum of 6 years. Our next headline is related to rights of forest dwellers, and it is in the news because recently Tamil Nadu government notified the reserve forest area in Erode district as Thanthai Periyar Wildlife Sanctuary, and as a result, tribal communities and local residents fear that their traditional rights such as right to use forest resources will be curtailed. Now let's know about Forest Rights Act 2006. So friends, it recognizes the rights of forest dwelling tribal communities and other traditional forest dwellers to forest resources on which these communities were dependent for variety of needs including livelihood, habitation, and other socio-cultural needs. This act encompasses rights of self-cultivation and habitation, which are usually regarded as individual rights, and community rights include grazing, fishing, and access to water bodies in forests, habitat rights for PVGTs, access to biodiversity, community right to intellectual property and traditional knowledge, and recognition of traditional customary rights. The Forest Rights Act also provides right to allocation of forest land for development purposes to fulfill basic infrastructural needs of the community. And do you know friends, sanctuaries and national parks are notified under Wildlife Protection Act 1972, and people inside sanctuaries continue to enjoy all their rights unless prohibited, but they don't in national parks. No new rights are permitted once the notice of intent is issued, and the collector is to inquire into the rights of all persons, their nature, and extent in the proposed sanctuary or national park. Now let's know about forest villages. So friends, in 1990, Union Ministry of Environment and Forest had ordered that all forest villages be converted to revenue villages, and forest right also required to all forest villages to be converted to revenue villages, and during the conversion the actual land use of the village in its entirety including lands required for current or future community uses like schools, health facilities, and public spaces were to be recorded as part of the revenue village. Our next headline is related to HSN Codes, which stands for Harmonized System of Nomenclature Code. This was introduced in 1988 by the World Customs Organization. This was introduced for a systematic classification of goods, both national and international. This is a 6-digit code that classifies various products, and India has been using this code to classify commodities for customs and central exercise. There are different HSN codes for various commodities, and these codes remove the need to upload details about the goods, which makes filling of GST returns easier. Our next headline is related to Nato, and do you know friends, foundations of Nato were officially laid down in 1949 with the signing of North Atlantic Treaty, which is more popularly known as the Washington Treaty, and its primary purpose is to ensure the security and defense of its member countries through collective defense. It is committed to the peaceful resolution of disputes, but if diplomatic efforts fail, it has the military power to undertake crisis management operations, and these are carried out under the Collective Defense Clause of NATO's founding treaty. And under it, if a NATO member attacks another member, it is considered an attack on all NATO members. It has currently 31 members, most of them European nations plus United States and Canada. The newest member is Finland, which joined in April 2023. Our next headline is related to Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana, which is recently launched by Prime Minister of India to provide free electricity to its beneficiaries. And as per the scheme, the central government will provide 300 units of free electricity per month to its beneficiaries by investing rupees 75,000 crore. Our next headline is related to Automated Permanent Academic Account Registry, which is a transformative initiative introduced in alignment with the National Education Policy of 2020 and National Credit and Qualification Framework. It aims to provide a unified and accessible academic experience for students across India by assigning a unique and permanent 12-digit ID to every student, consolidating their academic achievements in one place. Our next headline is related to carbon nanotubes, which are pivotal in advancing modern technology by showcasing extraordinary properties. They have found applications in diverse fields, including rechargeable batteries, flexible electronics, aerospace, transparent electrodes, touchscreens, supercapacitors, and medicine. And according to recent research, a novel method for directly synthesizing carbon nanotubes on glass substrates at a temperature of 750 degrees Celsius could help energy research, biomedical fields, and optoelectronics. Our next and last headline is related to International Epilepsy Day, which is an annual awareness raising initiative organized by the International Bureau for Epilepsy and International League Against Epilepsy. Epilepsy is a chronic non-communicable disease of the brain that affects around 50 million people worldwide. It causes frequent seizures. Now, what are seizures? So friends, they are brief episodes of involuntary movement that may involve a part of the body or the entire body and are sometimes accompanied by loss of consciousness and control of bladder function. So with this, let's conclude our today's discussion. Thanks for listening, and for regular updates, you can follow us on various social media platforms.